it's not real at all. In fact, Mohammed Yunus has never himself said he wanted to resign. And somebody, Nahid Islam, who used to be with him as an advisor, now he's heading that National Citizens Party, so-called Students Party. That person had gone to meet Mohammed Yunus, came out and said, oh, I think he might resign. Now, all this drama has been created entirely because the army has called out Mohammed Yunus in no uncertain terms. On the 21st of May, a day or two before Mohammed Yunus started this drama, the army chief, General Waqar-ud-Zaman, had called a darbar, what they call a darbar, which is a meeting of all the army officers, including those serving abroad with peacekeeping. They were there on the Zoom link, etc. And they discussed the situation in the country. And the conclusions of that discussion was a complete show of support for General Waqar-ud-Zaman, because he got the entire army, all the officers behind him. And they stated absolutely categorically, there were 2 or 3 issues on which the army made its position categorically clear. And on all of these positions, all of these points, the army's position is diametrically opposed to what Mohammed Yunus is doing, or has been saying he's doing. The first position was that the army said they will no longer tolerate any anarchy or mob violence in Bangladesh. And the situation on the ground is one of complete anarchy and mob violence. And as if in opposition to this, the Mohammed Yunus on Saturday, the very next day, he called demonstration. You know, his sycophants, some sycophantic editors even wrote, pleading with Mohammed Yunus, don't go, don't resign, as though, the world would fall. Secondly, they tried to call a demonstration to call the students and the NCP on the roads on Saturday. Nobody came. Very limited, just a handful of people turned up, so showing there's no support at all. The second point that the army raised in this very important meeting, a unanimous point, was that the army does not support the so-called corridor between Bangladesh and Myanmar. And they use a very, very strong word. I cannot repeat it here because it is completely unparliamentary. A very, very strong word to describe that corridor, and said that this is against the security and sovereignty of Bangladesh. And they said clearly that Mohammed Yunus is taking decisions which concern the security and sovereignty of Bangladesh without consulting the army. This is all written down in the decisions which came out of that meeting, which the army took on the 21st of May. I think it's a very, very serious matter that there is this complete, disarray of opinion. And we know that this humanitarian corridor, which is between Bangladesh and Myanmar. It was created after the UN Secretary General visited Bangladesh about a month back, and it is supposed to actually be humanitarian, maybe for return of Rohingyas or other humanitarian supplies, but it is actually also possibility that they may supply armed equipment through this corridor to the Arakan army. Now, this is where it shows clearly that the army is not in favor. The third thing that the army chief had unanimous support on was on holding the elections before December 2025. December this year, which means just in the next 6 months. So this is absolutely something that Mohammed Yunus has not allowed to happen any time in the last 8 months. And this demonstration that I spoke to you about, the so-called handful of students who came, they were all saying Mohammed Yunus for 5 years, Mohammed Yunus as president, and all kinds of things, showing clearly that Mohammed Yunus has no intention of calling elections at all, and he wants to stay on as an unelected illegal government. I must tell you, this is exactly what Mohammed Yunus tried way back in 2007, when also he tried to stay on as an unelected government, which didn't work. He had to give up, and he said he'd given up all political ambitions, but clearly he hasn't. He's back again. And the army also said one more point, that there is the values of the liberation war, of the 1971 liberation war, are non-negotiable. So I think that this is something that shows that, the Bangladesh army is determined to maintain its own position. You must remember that in August 2024, it was the army which allowed Mohammed Yunus to be sworn in as chief advisor of what is called an interim regime. But this regime actually no longer exists because A, it hasn't followed the terms of being an interim government. It has got political parties as among the advisors. All the Islamist parties are there. The Islami Andolan Bangladesh, Hifazat Islam and others. And we know that the real power behind Muhammad Yunus is actually the Islamist parties. And, the Jamaat-e-Islami and others, they are the real power behind the throne. Muhammad Yunus has no leeway to act on his own. He's really, I would almost describe him as a puppet leader. So now, in this kind of a situation, Muhammad Yunus is turning to all kinds of, shall I say, tricks of the trade to show that he's in charge and that he is going to control the situation. Actually, he may call it a warlike situation. He is the one, his government, completely illegal, absolutely outside the space of an interim regime. He banned the Awami League. And why did he ban the Awami League? Because the Awami League's vote bank is still intact. And the Muhammad Yunus's backers, the Jamaat-e-Islami and others, realized that despite being 8 months, in the seat of power in Bangladesh through Muhammad Yunus, they had not been able to get any popular support. The people of Bangladesh do not want an Islamist regime. They absolutely do not. And so, even his ploy of banning the Awami League, for which he has no authority at all, is not going to work, because the army is insisting on free, fair, and inclusive elections in Bangladesh. And they're determined to have the elections by the end of this year. And the elections have to be conducted by a caretaker regime, which will have to be appointed by the army, because Muhammad Yunus and his cohorts don't fit the definition of a caretaker regime. They have violated all the conditions of a caretaker regime. So I would say that this drama of having a warlike situation, it is, of course, he's trying to point the finger at India. He's been anti-India from day one. Every position he's taken has been anti-India deliberately. He has created a situation, fanning an anti-India sentiment among the people. But I would say that even on this, he has overplayed his hand. And today on this, this card of being anti-Indian no longer has any relevance, because the people of Bangladesh are saying, "Aage bhalo chilo," it was better earlier. So I think that this situation is very dire, and the army has expressed its determination to hold the elections by the end of this year and to have them free, fair, and inclusive. And they've expressed themselves against the humanitarian corridor. They have reiterated the liberation war.
Okay, Master Sikri, I'll come to you in just a moment. Professor Narapat, I want to get